other memorable thing between VR and IRL, I should say, is when me, Deagle, Never, Izakarius, Creaked, we all ended up helping out at an event called Boss Wave. And
hello, everybody. Welcome back to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
Old Man Raptor, and our guest is...
Who?
MoeTheLawn. Hey.
Hey, thank you very much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to finally see the face behind the name.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah, nice meeting you. Hell yeah.
Oh.
It's too cold outside, sir. You can mow my yard anytime you want, but it's snow on the ground.
Oh, man, you don't know how many jokes I've heard just exactly like that, pretty much.
Yeah, probably.
Oh. Well,
yeah, wow.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions in a row, and sorry to bombard you with a bunch. Who are you and what do you do here in the virtual landscape? And where did you get your name?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So I'm MoeTheLawn. Pretty much, I've gotten my name when I was younger, mowing the lawn. What is it? I was trying to come up with I don't remember if it was a Yahoo account or something. Already shows my age. But in most part of my name actually. So I was just like, oh, mow the lawn, and I pretty much just stuck with that the whole time. So
hey.
Easy peasy. But what is it? So I am co-admin of Rizumu. I work with Ali and Indy, and just running parties every so often on Saturdays. And I used to do some other events within Rizumu, like Armageddon, which was kind of more the heavier bass side, because the normal parties are kind of like pretty much any genre. And then Armageddon was kind of more the bass heavy stuff. And then there's also Launchpad, which is like the new DJ event. So, or new to us. So anybody that's interested to play in Rizumu, usually we just have you sign up and then go and play. And Grizdog's been helping me out a lot with that recently, so that's been helpful. Arma, I haven't really been able to do as much lately because I've been pretty busy with a bajillion other things. It's kind of hard to jumble everything, but I'm talking to some people to maybe potentially bring that back. We'll see. But at least right now we got Launchpad and the Saturday parties. Then I'm also staff with Seventh Dimension. Also kind of a little bit more bass heavy, but a little more known for dubstep and whatnot, but they've been kind of expanding out further than that with other genres. And then also Sushi House. Sushi House is kind of it's a Japanese event, and the world is actually in a sushi conveyor belt restaurant. It's actually really cool. But it's anything house. And I work with Sarah-san on that, Never-san. And then they basically rely on me to book the EU and NA DJs there. And that's roughly once a month on a Friday.
No.
And then I guess you could say, let's see. Showcase is also run by Sarah-san. It's also Daifuku-san's world. And usually we just bring in new DJs, just anybody who hasn't really played for a Japanese club before. And let them be able to play at Magenta pretty much. So usually that kind of runs in the morning NA time. And then I usually just try to hey, you want to play for a JP club? I can help you go there and play. So I usually just bring them in, but I don't really do anything more than that. But that's been pretty fun. I also help out with Tube, just anything with overflow there. If they need the extra help. Also help with Shelter with overflow. If they need the help. Gosh, I've done a lot of different stuff. Yeah, I mean,
he's got his hand in the fucking cookie jar and trying to eat pie at the same time. Holy Christ!
Oh, yeah, I used to help out in Zenith, Resonance Room, even Loner for Overflow when they had overflows at one point, and yeah, just a bunch of different stuff. And I don't know, I really like helping out, and you know, this seems pretty fun. It's been a blast. So. When I help out where I can.
Well, I'm asking a question just so I can clarify, like, where'd your origins start? What got you into VR, and how did you get started with all of that? Because you sound like a very, very busy person, and I'm quite curious, like, how did you get to this point? May I ask?
Oh man, I don't know, like. I guess in a way, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV and whatnot as much. I've always like been on the internet. I've always liked gaming and stuff. I mean, I was even like helping out on like forums. I actually ran a community. Even in my college, there wasn't a video game club, and I started one. Started reaching out to other universities, say like, hey, you want to play Counter-Strike with us, or StarCraft 2 or something, and you know, get them play, and they actually still exist today. It's actually really cool. So I've always done like kind of hopped around in some gaming communities, just depending on what's going on and everything. For VR, I actually had some friends that got into VRchat as early as 2017. So I actually made an account in 2017, and I was just a deskie. So I didn't have a VR headset, and actually because of that, I wasn't really as interested as much. And I've seen enough Ugandan knuckles that I don't know. I was like, yeah, you know, I mean, the whole concept is cool, but I wasn't really that much into it, and I wasn't really as immersed. So it was kind of a little bit hard to get into it. But kind of fast forward to 2020, in March, I actually just happened to get, pretty much I was kind of shopping around for VR headsets. Is like, oh, you know, I want to actually just try it and whatnot. And I saw there was the Index. It's like, okay, this seems to be the best for what it is and whatnot. So I went and ordered it. Got it 2 days later. So pretty quick. And the day that I got it, that one Friday in March, that's when basically everything just shut down because of COVID. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I can pop around in here a little bit more than I was expecting. And, you know, and actually I do a lot of IT work stuff too. So, yeah, it's just system administration and, yeah, we're just always into technology and stuff. So, yeah, I was still busy with work there, but it was just like I didn't really have to go anywhere. So it was like nice to be able to just immediately like pop into VR and just check out some things. So I met some people out there. Obsec, Mantisan, Bud Chaser. Yeah, that's his name. Really good dude. Sentzon, and yeah, just a lot of really cool people. And you know, basically, you know, just hung out. There's a lot of, you know, obviously drinking worlds. I think Void Club, Mirror, whatnot. But actually, OPSEC, it was really interesting because he's kind of messed with music for a while. He was kind of off of it, but then kind of getting into VR. Between like Mantisan was like showing me around like to all the different like club worlds. There was like, you know, DDVR, Rizumu, MVP, Shelter. Shelter was like just starting pretty much. And kind of seeing all that, you know, that really inspired OPSEC to play. So he got a controller, then he started playing, then I was basically just helping him out, like basically, you know, making sure the stream's running okay. So he's basically just focused on DJing, and I can just like help him out and everything. And eventually, like, I saw the call for Rizumu, like, you know, them wanting to or asking for hosts, you know, if anybody wants to help out. I was like, oh, you know, maybe this would be a good way to kind of like pop in, check some things out and whatnot and help out. So I did that, and the very first event that I helped out with on that was basically we collaborated with Shelter in terms of like helping staffing like overflow for the Must Die event. So Must Die was in VR, and so that was a lot going on just for like the first night, but that was pretty fun. And so that was pretty cool and inspiring. And then like hosting all these other DJs, artists, because, you know, during the pandemic, you know, everything just basically, all the clubs shut down and everything. And actually, and just end up meeting a lot of these, you know, artists, DJs and whatnot. And yeah, it was just really cool, you know, talking to them. And basically from there, that kind of inspired me like, oh, you know, I kind of want to try this out myself, because I usually do, or I should say, I've dabbled in music in the past, so I've played like piano, alto sax, a little bit of guitar, was in choir and whatnot, so always liked music. And then you know, basically I was like, oh, you know, I'll try DJing out, see what I, you know, could do. I got like a DDJ 400, and I was talking to Paul at the time, and I also ended up talking to Iron Biscuit, and matter of fact, Iron, she helped me out with like getting comfortable with like DJing and whatnot, because I found out Iron made a joke about corn. And so I'm from the Midwest, and so I was like, wait, where are you? And so I was like, oh shit, you know, we're only like, you know, 2 to 3 hours away from each other. So we actually met up, and basically I learned some stuff from Iron, and you know, got me comfortable with, you know, trying it out, and just been having a blast from there. So
Oh wow. Wow, sounds like right off you got in here, you're already out, balls to the walls, feet to the ground. Wow, that's quite impressive.
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest, hearing
No
from you,
doubt.
you're up to a whole lot. How do you keep up with it, may I ask? All these events and stuff you're hosting and running for.
Good question. That's all I could say. It's a good question. I don't know.
Good question.
I don't even know how
Let
I
me
do
jot
it.
that one down, and I'll be back with you in 4 hours. I'll see what I got in there and understand now. I got a question for you, one more. You already started to mention it, but when you first got on VR, right? And I asked this to everybody. When you first got into VR, not with your headgear, whatever, and you walked into a room or a world, and you're going, what the hell is going on? And you go, nope, this is not for me. I'm getting the hell out of here. But you had to stay just to see a little bit of it going, oh, wow, this is, what the hell's wrong with people? What was your setup on that?
Yeah, I was kind of saying like the Ugandan knuckle stuff was just kind of funny to see. I don't know, the toothbrush kids
Just
Oh, I remember
screaming
the
and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some things you don't really. It's a little bit crazy to explain to other people. Be like, oh yeah, I saw a Warhammer Space Marine person riding a dinosaur, just shooting with their Gatling gun, just like, it's just, I don't know. You just see crazy stuff like that. Just like, wow, this game's something.
Fair enough. Yeah, we've all seen our fair share of weird stuff in this game, especially over at the Black Hat, that really unique place that attracts all the most wonderful individuals. Hmm.
Yep.
Indeed. So, along that process, Iron Biscuit, obviously, who has helped you and inspired you for your entire process of getting to where you are?
Yes, definitely Iron Biscuit, OBSEC as well. When I was hosting in the early days, like Melon Slices, um, yeah, it was just really cool to see, just, play jungle and whatnot. And then, let's see here, Paul Manton, he's done a lot of work in Rizumu, kind of bridge the gap a little bit between like the different communities. So like he typically reached out to not even just Japanese community, but like even like LATAM EU people, and just like basically, with the older clubs, we just have like kind of like 4 slots for like kind of the in-house, or like kind of like people are kind of around at this time, but then he'll like try to grab like, say, Japanese people, which are like just starting to be like the afternoon their time, getting late into the night here, and have them play, and to like be able to kind of see that and kind of experience like the different genres that they play, or even they'll try to match up with like whatever's going on in the event too. Is just really cool to see. And he's a really good DJ as well. And well, in fact, we just played Shelter just this past weekend, and him playing head, shoulders, knees, and toes, double other stuff, was just like he could be cracked sometime. We like to say the goose is loose. So
So, since you have experience with various DJs and clubs from around the globe, is there any difference between each culture when they run an event or play music for people, or is it similar in ways?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a lot of similarities, but they kind of have their own twists in some way, shape, or form too. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like they're generally open. So there maybe even some like Japanese DJs. You wouldn't necessarily think of it at first, but there's a few that play like dubstep out there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool to see. Definitely more J-core, hardcore out there. Different techno. There's one guy, Other Moon. He does a lot of breakcore stuff. Canarin also does a lot of breakcore, kind of heavy beat type stuff. Monday Relief. That's kind of just been open genre. Hani Yasame, I've heard kind of a little more chill stuff, but then I've heard various stuff in there. Matter of fact, sorry, I'm just remembering a time. I was offered to play at Hani Yasame one time, and I was able to like help bring like a few buddies in, and from the NA, and was I brought in a friend, Deagle, or Last Breath is his DJ name. It was funny. He was playing like Liquid D&B and whatnot, and I was like, play dubstep, play rhythm, play dubstep. Come on. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And eventually he did. And he dropped. And like OPSEC and me were just like on the decks going like, just headbanging and everything. And then if I recall, I think Sarasan said something, made a post about it. It's like something funny about it. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was like, they just started playing heavy and just started going at it on the decks. So yeah, it was pretty fun. But yeah, like I said, like yeah, they're pretty overall welcoming. And matter of fact, I was in Japan last year in what was it, April to May. Honestly, probably one of the worst times to go because it was Golden Week, and Golden Week is like 4 holidays in a week kind of deal. So that's when usually like a lot of the Japanese people kind of go home to see family and everything. So there's just a lot of travel going on. And like partway into it, it was like, I'm in it. And so I actually got to check out an event. What is it? Shira? Basically, it was a lot of VRDJs in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and I actually met Assertive out there and Aerovator, and so like even US or NA people, and basically there was a whole event in Circus Tokyo, and it's kind of crazy, honestly, to go in there, and you know, I look completely different because my nationality is different and everything, and like it's just really interesting to see, like, you know, despite like me not knowing much Japanese, it's like everybody's vibing to the music, everyone's enjoying the music, we're all dancing. Also, everybody likes to drink. A lot of cheers, kanpai, and you know, and we're basically buying drinks for each other. You know, I got to see, you know, say Sistron, who made that song, like, you know, we are slave for VRchat, and is like, oh, you know, I got to hang out with him like in IRL, and we're just having a drink, and you know, just vibing to music. It was like, yeah, just super cool to kind of just meet everyone. So even though like I could say some basic Japanese stuff, it was like we could communicate with each other. We're all having fun. We're all vibing, and it was really cool. It was really awesome.
Sounds like an amazing time. When you initially hopped in, did you expect any of this to go this far?
No, if you ask me when I started, definitely not. Because yeah, I don't know, like I talked about like doing music early on, and like I was kind of basically off of it, but like kind of seeing everyone vibing, having fun, and just getting exposed to like all the different genres of music and everything, way more than what I've been, because like growing up where I'm from in the Midwest, it's like hate to say this, there's a lot of country music. And that's all I hear. And in matter of fact, there was even like some pop station that just ran, that like one of the only pop stations that you could hear. And they're like, you know what, we're gonna make that country too. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, so my exposure wasn't really that big into music until I got into more in college, and you know, enjoyed some stuff there. But then like getting into VR is just the gates are open. You know, there's not really any borders. You know, I can talk to anyone from any country basically, and you know, enjoy an event, listen to music, and just have a blast. So yeah, I it rekindled my love for music, and it just made me be like, okay, I want to put like my sets together. Sometimes I'll plan it, sometimes I won't, depending, but this is the kind of vibe that I want to give out to everyone. I want to, you know, just here's what I love, and let's all have fun, and just kind of go from there. So yeah.
All right. So when you create your sets, what is it you look for? What kind of vibe are you trying to bring to the table?
So in general, I'm kind of more of a very energetic, hard-hitting, heavy-hitting kind of artist, I guess. That's the vibe I'm kind of typically pushing out, but that's not to say that I wouldn't do like a dub techno set or something more chill and everything. So I think ultimately the crazy thing about learning like all these different genres and like actually just trying it out and just running with it, it made me kind of, or allowed me to basically kind of mesh with whatever venue I'm playing for the most part, but also at the same time give it my take on it. And this is the vibe I want to put out. This is me. But let's have fun together. Let's just yeah.
Okay. So from the sounds of everything you shared between VR and real life, do you have a preference of where you'd rather play or experience your events? And what are your thoughts on the differences between the two?
I actually don't really mind where I play for the most part. I've been pretty open to playing even in some social drinking game events that aren't really that music focused. And maybe I'll just throw some bass house or UK garage or something and just do that. I've played for small or brand new clubs that just started. Definitely happy to play those, and I've been very fortunate to play some of the bigger events like Shelter, Tube, Loner, Sanctum, Dieselworks, Heist. I don't know. There's just there's so many out there. I've played. Gosh, now it feels like I'm bragging. Sorry.
Oh, don't
no,
apologize. We're here to learn about you. So if you wish to brag a little, feel free. We want to know about you.
No,
what is it you're passionate about? What is it? What made you? Who are you?
Yeah.
So don't apologize. We'd love to hear all of it.
Yeah. No, I've been very fortunate to play at a lot of places. But for the most part, I mean, I just like to vibe with everyone. I just like to have fun, and that's just basically it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So it's from the sounds of it, you prefer VR over real life events. May I ask? Am I correct in assuming that?
So I don't know. It's kind of goofy. So I managed to play 5 different places in IRL. Gosh, what is it? ShelterCon. I guess my fingers aren't going to work fully. The ShelterCon in like the second stage, so I was lucky to do that. 2D Con, which was in Minnesota. Played a few in Iowa. And I've been talking to like some other places, like even in other states, and that's it's pretty fun. I would say, what do I want to say? It's definitely a different experience. Overall, people are there to also vibe, have fun, and everything. So, I would say it's definitely easier in VR because you can just pop on, ready to roll, hit the play button and go. But for an IRL event, you have to like actually drive there and like chill and then like figure out if you need an Uber or something back home, or you know. So a little bit different there than versus like VR. I could just pop off the headset and like, okay, I'm going to bed, you know.
Yeah.
So it's different in that aspect, but I don't know. I'm having fun on both stages. Like definitely getting to experience everyone or every event, and meeting up with all these different people has been fun. The IRL stuff is like kind of new to me because I'm like, they don't really know me as much, and so like to like in a way kind of start from scratch again is kind of nice. And kind of spark some interesting conversations because some of the program promoters and stuff, or even like attendees, is like, "Hey, I haven't heard of you before. Like, where are you from?" I jokingly would say like, "Oh, virtual reality," you know, because that's what I've been doing before, and now it's like, oh, now I'm just starting to play IRL. So, and sometimes when I say that, it's kind of interesting to see how many people don't know, but then also some people that do know, and say like, there's one promoter, I just blew his mind because basically like, oh wow, you do all that stuff. And it's like, I've seen like documentaries and stuff like on YouTube and whatnot on that, and I was like, oh yeah, I do all that stuff. So gosh, sorry, that just reminded me of like what is it, the one promoter I did, kind of like, we basically had lunch together and I kind of went through all this different stuff and everything. And the funny thing is like my boss and a coworker stopped by at the restaurant and then sat behind me. My boss kind of knows a little bit of my DJing stuff, but it was kind of funny when they popped in and I was like, okay, now I'm like explaining all the VR stuff to the promoter guys. It was a little awkward, I guess, but now they're all pretty cool with it, and yeah, it's definitely really interesting.
So, whoa. Oh, I broke that. Huh. It'll buff. If you're enjoying this, please, I would heavily suggest to follow us on any of our social media. If you go down in the thingamabob, down that way, we have a card, metaversedegen.card.co, with all our social media. Feel free to come follow us at any of those places. We've got Discord. We hang out there all the time. Feel free to come chat. Also, we have a Patreon with 2 people who joined up now, and I'm going to give them a little bit of a shout out. One of which is Training Fangs, who's a really good friend of ours, and Forbidden Zero, and also a good friend. So please come follow us. Come hang out. Whoa. That's my cue to go. Enjoy the video. What did the real life promoters think of VRchat's rave scene, Mask? I'm quite curious to see what the real world versions of what we do in here. I'm curious to what they think. Because every time I try and explain VR to people, I feel like that dude off the History Channel or the TV show is pointing your fingers at the maps with red lines everywhere. It's like, oh, there's this thing and that thing, and I feel like a crazy man.
Yeah. It's hard to say. You get some different responses just based on like what they've known and what they've seen. I have shown some promoters in VRchat like kind of what it all looks like inside. Just bringing them to an event and just kind of seeing like what's possible. What kind of music's being played there, all the different visual aspects of the venue, and just basically showing them like how it's streamed into the world. Like they'll ask those kind of questions, like how is it technically feasible to kind of do all that stuff. So it kind of just turns their gears a little bit. There's some that want to do more with VR, and then maybe some that aren't as up to speed with it, just because the other flip side of it is also like, they're also a business. So like they're, trying to make ticket sales or, door sales and, alcohol, which you can't really get in VR and everything. And they're like, well, how is it kind of feasible, to do stuff like that? And, some may be a little bit more hesitant to do that because it's kind of like definitely outside the norm kind of aspect. But then there's some more technology minded promoters and venue owners that are like, maybe I can extend my reach on, some places, or kind of really, provide more, value into can we do some sort of mishmash between VR and IRL and, just kind of go from there. So.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm quite interested and glad to see a lot of more people in various fields are looking towards VR, at least as an interesting novelty. So it's cool to hear that perspective. I don't ask to try and pry or anything. I ask because I'm genuinely curious. As I said, I feel like a crazy madman trying to explain VR to people. I'm not good at it. I find it very hard. So, with a lot of your experience in the real world, is that something you enjoy doing as well? The whole experience of going and playing.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it is a lot of fun. Like for instance, one of the venues I played at, I have a really good deck set up at home. 'Cause I went from like a DDJ 400 to like an XDJ, XZ. I actually have a CDJ on the side too. But like one of the other clubs have an actual mixer plus 4 CDJ 3000s and RMX thing and the whole kit and caboodle thing, and it's just really cool to kind of be able to play on that kind of equipment and mess around with. So and then obviously I don't have the kind of speaker system at home as the clubs do out there, so that's always really fun to listen to and play on. And I don't have lasers at home. It'd be cool, but lasers shooting across the room. And no, they definitely have some gear that are kind of nice to play around with.
Okay. What were some memorable moments between VR and IRL that stick with you, may I ask?
Definitely one thing I could think of was actually one of the promoters I talked to was like, hey, pick a day, and I picked a day, and then I was like, any genre? And then he's like, yeah, open up to any genre you want. And I was like, cool. It's like, you know what, I feel like I want to play drum and bass that night. And then you got thinking like, ooh, I want to do drum and bass, have a drum and bass night. So he's like, I'll pick the rest of the lineup, and I'll give you more details later. So he ended up making a drum and bass night, and oh, that was a blast. I had so much fun. It's kind of interesting to see the different people do different things with the deck. So it's actually the same place that has the 4 CDJs and all that, and me and the owner were the only ones just sticking a USB in and just fully utilizing them, versus one person had a laptop, and then another person brought in their Denon DJ decks and whatnot too, which is fine, but it was kind of interesting to see that and kind of what they do there. And some other memorable thing between VR and IRL, I should say, is when me, Deagle, Never, Izakarius, Creaked, we all ended up helping out an event called Boss Wave. And they had some big name artists like Koki, Nero, Space Laces, 1788L, Pendulum, and yeah, there was a lot of really good artists there. I was playing for a couple of days, and then basically we were able to basically bring that into VR. So what we did is we went out to the venue, we took a lot of pictures, we worked with a few other people to basically create the venue one-to-one, but then kind of give it that VR pizzazz kind of thing where like special effects, there was like a AI robot on the poster, and then we basically broke the walls and showed like the AI robot thing there. But otherwise, if you look at the stage and look at the stage IRL, they actually look very similar. So that was really, really cool to do. And actually, since then, we made a group called Transcend Reality to basically keep kind of doing that stuff. So, we'll have cameras out there, visualizers and other stuff, depending, a world, whether it's like made for that venue or, just a general one with like a player. And we'll basically, capture the venue, what's going on in the venue and the music and everything, send that to VR. And we'll also have like portal systems. We did that at Boss Wave and other places, and just basically, have a screen, have a video camera, and basically, capture whatever's in world in VR here, but also do the same in IRL and just basically send it to each other. So people don't even have to have a headset. They can just like go up to the camera and just wave at each other and react and say stuff and whatnot. And it's pretty fun.
I experienced the closest thing to a portal like that I've experienced was with Virality, but I was only from one side without really talking to the other side. I was just kind of observing. What was it like from your end of things, like the whole technical aspects of getting it together, and what was the real life's response to seeing VRchat on the other side of the screen?
It in some ways you can, I guess you could say you could maybe cheapen out on some equipment and kind of do kind of like some form of a portal and whatnot, but I mean, typically we try to have like a higher quality camera set up, just making sure like the network's all good and everything. It's solid, it's not on some far off Wi-Fi router kind of deal, where we may drop connections, or if it's Wi-Fi is being shared by the venue, that we have like a way to like dedicate the traffic that we're trying to send between the venue and VR. Yeah, we, at least with our group, we're trying to do some high quality stuff, use high quality equipment, and just basically kind of try to provide like the best experience that we can at that venue.
And what was the venue's partygoers' response to seeing a portal like that?
It was really cool. There, like a lot of them were just like, "Oh my god, like this is a thing," like because a lot of them never really seen it before. That kind of stuff. Maybe in VRchat, if you've been in the scene, I know Shelter's done a portal. Other groups have done been trying to do portal stuff, and so it's not exactly new to us, but it's definitely new to like just someone who just goes out to the rave scene and whatnot, and they're like, wow, I can actually like talk to people, wave at people. There's one guy, we got it on video, some guy did a backflip.
Oh yeah.
On the portal, and then people saw that in VR when it like when they saw that, they're like, oh my god, they're just like reacting like just, oh my god, that's crazy. So yeah, it's actually really fun, really cool to see, especially you might have some VR homies that are here, some VR homies that are actually out playing or just participating, and like they can go to the portal and just be like, oh, here's so and so mow the lawns at the portal, and everybody's waiting because they actually recognize them and everything, and so yeah.
Oh, wow. It's cool to see or cool to hear those more wholesome moments like that between portals and with the general publics. I don't want to say normies, but people who aren't in VR as chronically as most of us. It's cool to see those responses and that much interest, especially since it's not like VR chat and VR tech kind of has that much of a reach outside of nowadays with modern tech.
Definitely.
So was that how did you get involved with doing portals? Like what got you involved with Transcend Reality and getting into there?
Basically, yeah, so Never was basically knew the promoter for like the Boss Wave thing, and they were aware, kind of similar, like they were kind of aware with VR what a little bit of what that's about. And so it was just kind of a brainstorm thing of like, hey, let's give this a try, and just basically kind of grew from there. So yeah, just as the pandemic kind of let off for the most part, people are returning to clubs and festivals and whatnot, and to kind of like basically kind of bring what we've seen and learned here, and to take that IRL, and maybe even vice versa, just kind of like, there are some cool things about IRL that's like cool to kind of bring here. Like we've actually brought in some artists. We did work with Bypass Audio, which is like a label, and MoeTheLawn, and some other artists actually played here in VR. Just just basically bridging the gap between VR and IRL, and just kind of basically do cool stuff together and kind of run with it. So it's just stuff like that. It just like keeps us going, and seeing what's possible to kind of mash everything.
Wow. So what was things like with during the pandemic of playing things in the club scene? Because I've heard some people say it exploded during the pandemic, and then what was the taper off like to where we are now?
Yeah, I would say I missed out on some very OG type of rave stuff. So I've heard some stories on that, how that kind of went, and that was kind of interesting. But when I started, I would say that's when things definitely really was picking up, because by then there were some artists that did pop into VRchat, or they're off playing to some game with their friends, and some just end up in VRchat because of that. And people can't really go out anywhere, and people love music, so I think it just kind of basically exploded because you're not really off doing anything else, you're just home. And so people just having fun at music events, I think it just, and then seeing those artists, seeing those DJs who have played before, playing out there and talking to them and everything, and it's like, oh, a lot of these people want to try this too. So I would say there weren't as many clubs when I started to help at Riz. There were several, but nowhere near the number today. And kind of seeing Mojopeg used to be an admin at Rizumu, and he was running Launchpad, and I mean, he'd ping new DJs and it would fill up in 5 minutes. Like, that's just how busy it always got. And so there were new interests that came in, and obviously, I jumped in on that, and started doing some similar things, and it kind of sucks in a way where, like, when we're booking people, it's tough to get everyone on because we only have so many events in the year with, 6 slots, all throughout the year, and it's like there's actually more DJs than that.
Mm.
And to juggle between like the new DJs coming in and cycling back old DJs, it's kind of in at the same time there may be some event that you're trying to be like, you know what, I may want a D&B-ish kind of night. Like they could still do whatever ultimately, but like, this is kind of the vibe we're trying to go for and whatnot. It's hard to just cycle everyone in. And I know there's been some DJs have had to wait to play because just the timing wasn't right, or we were already like, hey, this guy's like super overdue, or so I mean, I definitely try to encourage like the DJs to like, hey, go check out Seventh Dimension, go check out Voltage, go check out this, that, all these other clubs, to at least like, I don't want you to wait for us, but I definitely want to like loop you in when we can, and get you on your way, and try to keep people happy. And I think a little bit of that kind of started to you started to see more clubs being made to either kind of like house people that that really go well together, or maybe they're like thinking like, what, I think I can provide this kind of experience, a different kind of experience, a different underground experience, something super visually pleasing, or there's so many different kinds of clubs and venues out there right now. It's mind-boggling. And not only that, the number of DJs still are increasing. Like there's still new interests that I hear and see. I still get Launchpad signups that fill up quick, and it's still busy. So I think like definitely like with the multitude of venues, you get different experiences, depending on the community or whatever vibe that they're trying to put out, and it's really cool to see. And then you get some people that, I'm kind of getting to this point too. So I'm trying to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of weird to say that, but I am trying to slow down a little bit to try to make time to like actually make music.
Okay.
And I know there's some other DJs, other artists out there that are also trying to do the same. It's like basically they got to a point where it's like, you know what, I want to change things up, or I want to take things to another level. And they're basically starting to also play IRL and also, just make music, do stuff with live hardware, what have you, and just do really cool stuff. And it's actually really cool to see. Like it's basically all the talent, all the skills, all the everything that people learn to, together, wherever they're at, and basically take things to another level. It's just really cool to see.
I very much agree. And after hearing from a lot of the people within the scene, it does seem that with people such as yourselves running as many events as it seems you do, it's cool to see all the people who are inspired by you. It gets all the time you hear someone say, I want to try making avatars, I want to try DJing or make a club, and it happens so frequently. It's a testament to the level of entertainment people such as yourself provide. And that is what I'm very much interested in, cool, and seeing, is this year is the first time 2023 was when I first started understanding, oh, look, there's a rave scene. And I was baffled by the amount of organization, how cool it looked, the amount of technology going to it. It's like, this is a thing. And after that, for speak with people, it was cool to see and hear that people like you inspire as many people as you do. And then it leads to the real life. It does seem that a hobby can become something more. And VRchat and Rizumu and you mow the lawn, we're at the or are there with there. Sorry, just wanted to say that.
No, it's really cool. It's really like I don't know. I'm just having a blast, and I'm glad other people are having a blast too. And you know, not to say that there aren't any like frustration points, or you know, kind of some people that you know, basically trying to do some stuff and maybe it didn't fully work out, and you know, that's okay. I mean, it's always worth a try. You know, it's basically always worth trying things out. You know, with you know what you want to do, what you want to put out there, and you know, it's really cool to see.
Yeah. Well, there's a saying I use sometimes, which is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you want to try something, worst
Exactly.
comes to worst, you try it, you hate it, you don't have to do it again, but at least you can say you did it.
Yep.
Mm.
Exactly.
With at least places like VRChat and the VRChat Underground with music, at least you have the ability to try and not worry about being on a live stage in front of people DJing or what say you. At least you could be in the comfort of your own home, and if you don't like it, just off with the headset, problem done with. So you kind of have that mask of sorts to at least give it a shot if that music or DJing is
Definitely,
something you want to do.
100%.
Oh,
Yep.
man. Is there anything that any advice you'd give to people who are interested in the things that you do or anything close to what you do that you'd give them?
You know, if you're interested in helping out at all, like, you know, we're always happy to take on more hosts and, you know, at Riz or, you know, and other groups too. I know sometimes I've talked to other venue owners and club owners, and like, I know sometimes the help isn't always there because I know a lot of people like to party, but maybe not like, you know, kind of the back end. I mean, some people like booking and whatnot. That's all good, but like, you know, to make sure the DJ is okay, make sure the player's running okay, making sure, you know, people aren't causing any problems. I know that can be work sometimes. That can be, you know, it's not always an easy thing. But you know, luckily we have moderation tools too to, like, you know, if they're not willing to comply, you know, sorry, you're gone. But that hasn't been too much of a problem, especially as of late. I feel like everyone's been pretty good, but you know, it can be intimidating at first a little bit, but I mean, overall, it's good vibes all around, and you know, we can definitely use all the help there.
How how would you, as a VRChat club owner, sift through and decide who's good help and who's not good help? How do you figure those things out and who you want to choose?
Some people that are like easy to talk to, you know, offer suggestions to things, you know, just basically willing to help out and kind of just go from there. So I should say I do see a lot of people that are like, you know, wanting to run with things, run with events, and you know, wanting to, you know, try this or that. So like sometimes you just kind of like see some of that and you're like, hey, you know, or you know, say, you know, ask them, it's like, hey, you know, we'd be happy to have you as, you know, staff and kind of like help out and do all this stuff, and you know, get your input on things and kind of help make this a better club. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I'm impressed with, like, if for me, from outside standpoint looking in, the amount of staff and people willing to take the time to help things run, I'm always impressed by, and the organization between groups like Rizumu with the staff and the security and moderation and everybody involved. I'm impressed by that. Like, that must be a really complicated thing from your end to try and orchestrate on top of whatever it is you got to do during the day. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it can be, but you know, as long as we have like, you know, multiple people kind of helping out, like a lot of that burden kind of just really eases up. It just makes it a lot easier for everyone. So yeah, the more help, the more chill things are, the, you know, easier it is. So yeah, it like I said, it can seem intimidating, but ultimately, like, you know, we're all here to have fun. That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and with the lead of people like you or your staff, the security, the DJs, people help the DJs. By you guys providing that instance, you're helping other people have fun as well. And in turn, leading back to
Definitely.
me saying people are inspired by you sometimes during those events. Like I've met people in here with involved with some of our close friends who are like going to some clubs and they want to be security because they thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Sometimes just you guys existing
Yeah.
inspire people, even if you're not like playing the music and in the center of attention. It's still cool.
Yeah.
Everything you guys do. I want to be honest. I'm still impressed in learning everything you guys do.
Yeah. No, I know at one point too, like with Seventh Dimension, Surf, Almighty Surf, like he's kind of like head of security pretty much, and like basically, he would have like some of the hosts be like in Spartan gear because Surf is in Spartan gear, and so like you get the Spartan security out there, kind of just making sure people are having fun, and that's always great to see. And yeah, he's a good dude. So yeah.
So I'm gonna ask a question I generally ask some people are heads of clubs. What is it trying to run security for VR chat clubs? Is that something easy to do, or are there some complications with it? How do you guys manage? Sorry for all those ones.
No, you're fine. Typically it's like it's I'll be honest, like this rule is starting to get harder to kind of like have to worry about as much, but definitely we've had like a no very poor rule, because basically when people show up, we want them to have a nice, safe and smooth experience. And if they're lagging and having issues, we want to like minimize that as much as possible. So typically a lot of the clubs would have like a no very poor rule. Now I know VRchat has offered like avatar culling and just a ways to kind of minimize some of the impact on that. So that's always super helpful too. But so that's always like, but typically we're still on the very poor. If we need to change that rule because some of the things got better, that's definitely something we can visit. But regardless though, I know some people somehow can pack like 4K textures into like into an avatar that doesn't seem to be like bad performance, but until you like open up the details and like, wow, you're using like a gig of my VRAM, just with one avatar by itself, it's like stuff like that. It just, it can kind of suck a little bit, but yeah, that's just basically the no very poor thing, at least with Riz, we don't really have any NSFW stuff. We don't, it's supposed to be a safe space. So if someone's like harassing other people, we basically tell them to knock it off. And so just basically keeping it safe for everyone and, good performance. And, if anything comes up, the host can pretty much decide if they're breaking that rule and kick them, or if senior staff, if we have to like have deeper conversations onto someone that's like really causing problems, it could potentially be something where maybe we need to ban that person. So hopefully it doesn't get to that point, but we do have those conversations.
Okay, well, it's good to see that you're doing all of those awesome things in order to be able to keep things running smoothly. I'm sure it's not an easy task, especially when someone really likes their very poor avatar.
Yeah. I've gotten that a lot, but I think as more people like hit the rave scene, they run into that and into a lot of the other clubs. So I've noticed that I've really haven't had to ask as many people as I have in when I first started. So it's been a little bit easier going.
Okay. Well, so with the rave scene running and such, do you think that'll encourage people to lower the avatar quality to something a lot more manageable over time?
I think so. I'm not an avatar creator, so it's like I can't say like, oh yeah, this for sure. But I mean, from a lot of stuff, what I've seen is like, for some people with very poor avatars, they typically haven't really taken the time to like optimize it. And so it's just a matter of them taking the time to learn and optimize their avatar just so everybody can see their avatar. And, it's, it's just less likely to cause lag for anyone. I don't really fully get the reason. Like, I get maybe it costs a certain amount of money for a commission for someone to do it. Even though technically they could say like, hey, it needs to be poor or better, as part of the commission. But there are some honestly really nice designs that may happen to be very poor. But I've definitely seen some really good avatars that are like, even medium quality and whatnot. Maybe even good quality, depending on like how they kind of manipulate some things that like look really visually pleasing.
Well, to be honest, your avatar, which is a medium, looks really awesome to look at with all the flashing lights and how it looks.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. OPSEC, again, he actually designed the arm for this. My base avatar actually had like just like a mechanical hand and like just a normal like kind of jacket and whatnot, and basically ripped off the arm of the jacket and just like, oh, let's make this. And he like custom made this like this robotic arm kind of deal. So it's kind of cool.
It looks cool. It's one of the coolest. It's honestly really cool and really well done for a medium avatar. Like, I have to agree with you. There are some medium avatars that do look really, really good. So.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I used to have like, at one point, especially when I first started, it was like, oh, I'll just slap the Shelter logo. Oh, I'll slap the 7D logo, Audacity logo, all these other logos in the clubs. And eventually when I like been popping around and everything, it got to be like, okay, I can't really like keep adding logos. I feel like a race car driver kind of deal. Having all these advertisements around. I was like, okay, this time, like with my last update, is like, I'll just have like my logo. And OPSEC also made like this circuit on the jacket here, and just kind of leave it at that. And it's like, hey, I'm, maybe I'll have the Rizumu logo here just because they're family, but outside of that is like I love everybody, so like I'll keep it simple for myself.
I can only imagine how annoying it is to like, oh look, I have to add another thing and another thing. I definitely understand making it simple.
Yeah, no, definitely.
At least with like VR chat groups, with everything you're involved in, you could at least have like the VR chat group in your profile for like an advertisement. If you want to do a certain club or certain group, you can just have it up there by your name tag for people to look at, or people can go right into your groups. At least there's that way instead of having a race car driver logo jacket on.
Exactly. I got my lawn care world too. Long story short, Iron made like just as a meme, as like for like hanging out with her and whatnot and the DJ stuff. She's obviously a world creator, so she's like one day like, hey, ready to make your home world? I was like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, we're doing a lawn care world. I'm like, okay. So trying to show me stuff, but she's just like, that is way over my head. And so she started putting stuff together, and next thing you know, we actually threw an event in there. I made like a second version that was like basically like a lawn care hardware shop kind of deal with like lawn care stuff. And then I have like a big statue of me just being like kind of like the I don't know if I want to say animatronic. I don't know if that's the right word, but basically like how you have like a person kind of waving and it's just like moving back and forth kind of deal, or left to right, is basically me doing this. So it was funny. And then we'd have reviews of like different people in the scene. Like Two Tone, 2TD, like we'd always wish him a happy birthday as a meme, as a joke, like all the time, every single day at the time. So there'd be like a review that says happy birthday, or no, he said like, it's not my birthday, -2 out of 10 kind of deal. Just kind of memeing around there. So that was pretty fun. And the second version was like some basically you go through a staff door, and through the staff door it's like this almost like a military underground facility kind of deal with like missiles and stuff. And they're like, wait, what are you doing with that? And I'm like, oh, it's like a mass fertilizer applicator. You know, you want to fertilize lawns throughout the whole city kind of deal. You know, no big. It's not anything dangerous or anything like that. But yeah, don't go through those doors, please. Thanks. So those worlds have been kind of fun. And then actually, I'm in the middle of working with Grost to do a home world that kind of has like some mow the lawn or lawn care type stuff to it. It's just kind of a place where like to chill, or if people wanted to throw an event there, they can, and just hang out and have fun. So there'll be some personal stuff I'll have on there throughout, and just pictures of places I've been at, or like so I'm thinking like Naomi I don't know, well basically she made an event, and then there's like an event called Touch Grass, and there's this pedestal with grass, and like basically I took that pedestal, and like you can touch grass in the world and whatnot. So yeah, I can't wait to release that, so it should be fun.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us today. It's been an absolute great pleasure learning about all of your escapades and how you got to where you are. Where can people find you if they so choose to find you, may I ask?
So you can find me on Linktree /MoeTheLawn. Also, I'm typically on Twitter. It's hard to kind of keep up with every single social media place, because it's like I noticed the IRL scene's a little more on Facebook. I do have a Facebook account, I guess, MoeTheLawn, but I don't really have much there, because it's really tough to, like I said, it's tough to manage everything. Twitter is probably my most active one. MoeTheLawn VR, MOE the Lawn VR. And yeah, otherwise I am on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram, MoeTheLawn Music. Blue Sky is just MoeTheLawn. Sky.social. Yeah, but my Linktree has like all the different stuff. My Discord on there too, if you ever want to join up on that. And my SoundCloud is MoeTheLawn, Mixcloud MoeTheLawn. Haven't really been able to take too much time on uploading sets, but I try to like post things here and there every once in a while. And SoundCloud, I'm trying to like, especially when I do the try to run with music production more. I kind of want to keep that as to like actual track releases versus like mixes. So
okay,
yeah.
Wow. Again, thank you for taking the time for speaking with us and of your busy day, and it's greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for meeting up and asking questions and stuff. So yeah, it was nice to meet you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Raptor, you know the
New
thing.
Year, definitely. You got it. Well, folks, it's knowing it's a new year and everything else like this. Hope your new year goes good. But come down and see Lawnmower over here. And guess what? It's not going to mow your yard. He's going to play music in your front yard. We'll talk to you later, folks. Have a good one. Bye.